Well, welcome back, my fellow toppers, and today, musicians. I gotta tell you, this is pretty exciting from a typewriter mechanic's point of view. This is a music writer. I've seen a few videos of people showing these off, but as I may be a mechanic, I actually hold a degree in music. So we're going to write some music on this thing today just to see how it all works. The reason these things are so exciting for us typewriter type people is I think a lot of us aren't exactly sure how to write out music. But I've been playing with it a bit and I think I've figured it out. I had to do a lot of work on the escapement and whatnot. And let me just note, this is a customer's unit. This is not mine. It is not for sale. I suspect it will never, ever, ever, never be for sale. But R.C. Allen, music writer. The tag's a little worn out there. But after the work and tuning, and I still got to polish it a bit. But let's go through a few things. Number one, yes, it does have a regular ribbon. 1/2 inch, black, but it has this doohicker over here. So this is the same ribbon that you'd get in like an IBM Selectric. It will feed up. It is in there. I went ahead and gave him a new one just in case, but it would feed up similar to how it would in like an IBM Executive. Go across. You could take this ribbon out. You could engage this particular gear here, and it would it just kind of flow over. There's no real wear for it to pick up. It could probably pick up a bit here, but anyways, it's a smaller 3/8 ribbon, so I haven't figured that out yet. There's not a lot of information on these. I'm not even exactly sure of the year. If anybody knows the year, I can tell you the serial number. I got it around here somewhere. I looked it up on our buddy Ted's website, but the music writers aren't there. This serial number is AC-2227419-1. So, if anybody has any idea, great. So, again, Bob Marshall here, Typewriter Muse. Let's make some music. So I reckon you can use 8.5 by 11, as it's got cool marks on the back tab there, the back paper tray. So this thing's got no tabs, no margin sets, none of that stuff. All that stuff's missing. As a typewriter mechanic, that's very exciting because it's one less thing to worry about. Usually those particular mechanisms are kind of running through everything and getting in the way and have a good chance of fouling up sometimes. So this thing is a little different. You'll notice too, I'm going to be using my right hand a lot, which I think is how it was made. I'm not sure, but there's no return lever. See, it's missing, gone, no return lever. You're literally, it's just got these quarter clicks that you're kind of going through, maybe a quarter of what we're used to on most, maybe even a 12 point, but very little. Right, so that's how it goes. So maybe they sold lined paper once upon a time. I think this, you could put a total of 13 inches wide piece of paper through the sucker. Obviously there's none of that. Lucky for us, you could go way over here. So you got to kind of set your own margin. But if we give it a lock and hit this cool little button here, we're gonna get some nice lines to stave this paper out. And I could imagine this would be quite an issue. You get going a little too fast, it'll try to skip a bit, but you don't get as good a quality. I hope this doohicker around my neck that I got my phone duct tape to is assisting us. Okay, so let's talk. What do we need? We need a time signature. Let's for the fun of it, let's pick 4/4. There's a 4 here. That kind of works. We're going to backspace. Then we're going to move down, center that line, and another 4. So it all kind of works off this center right here. This guy right here is telling you where it's going, where it's going to be. Now it gets a little trickier here because we're going to put in a treble clef for the fun of it. And the treble clef, you'd think, for those musical types, the treble clef wraps around the G note. But this one, you got to move down to the E here, and then you hit the bottom, then you backspace, and then you go up to the very top line. I think it's a top line. Let's see if I can do this right. And you hit the same button again. Oh, I almost got it. There's a bit of a line through there, but that's okay. So now we're going to go one over. We're going to pick a key. Let's pick, I don't know, something easy. Let's pick B flat. So we're going to do a flat on the B. I love to put the spaces between them. Let's do the E. So it seems like a lot of times for writing, the cap locks is kind of on. And you got the bottom characters and the top characters on every key. This sucker being funky. I'll have to check that out. Anywho, so I'm just going to start kind of writing something and see what I can come out with. I think that's a rest. 1, 2, 3. Okay, let me get some notes going here. I'll just do a little medley. Be nice to do. B space. Then we'll go to the 5 space, and then well, that'd be the end of that measure. So if you go to the center of the stave there, lock that guy. Cool. You notice a lot of this I'm kind of doing with my hand to designate where this will go. We're going to lock this down. I reckon once you start going, I've kind of learned I like to have spaces between it. I don't know. Let's just write something here. Then we'll put another measure. That one, I suspect, it's kind of made to be used this way, where all the fine mechanics are with your right hand and everything else is kind of with your, let's pick the other one here. Everything else is kind of with your left. Okay, that's fun. And then maybe we'll get it over into a half note. I don't see the half note. We're supposed to make them. Maybe we're just, there we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, and then back to the center. End of measure. So you can just for an example, you just kind of keep it going. Maybe we'll play the tonic note. 1, 2, 3, 4 count. Make sure that's in the center. Okay, so these are themes. So if anyone can read that in the music, there you go. So we've written a bit of music. I suspect if you worked with this bad boy for a while, you'd get really darn good. I haven't worked with it, nor have I really written music in the last handful of years. And even back in the day, we always wrote music by hand. So I suspect this was just kind of something that did not take off as much as it could have. But if you had a lot of music to put out and you really wanted it well printed, I suspect this would be the machine to do it. Music Writer R.C. Allen. Excited to get this polished up, get a few of these keys adjusted. This guy's sticking here a little. This 8th note. No, this coda here sticking. So we'll get it all figured out. But yeah, a lot of it you kind of lock it down and do this with your left hand and do this with your right hand. I suspect at the end of the day, it's almost like making art on a typewriter. But it's a good one. Excited to have it here. R.C. Allen, Music Writer. This is Bob Marshall, Typewriter Muse. You might also know me as the voice on that typewriter podcast, Austin Typewriters Inc. One of the voices, anyways, co-host. R.C. Allen, Music Writer. Okay, Bob Marshall here, Typewriter Muse. Type on, my fellows.